Peace. This is Wise for Wise Words Media. Back at y'all for another Top 5 Tuesdays. So this week, what I'm going to do is, especially being that I'm coming off of vacation, one of my favorite things to do on vacation is, at least a few nights, is to watch some old school wrestling. I'm talking about like 80s, 90s wrestling. That's my zone. So one of the key components of old school wrestling was the vignettes. Those were those videos that they would use to promote a wrestler that was about to start wrestling at a new promotion, or even a wrestler that was already signed. They would use that to like promote them, promote them and showcase their personality. So I'm gonna go with top 5 wrestlers with the best vignettes. Number 5, I'm going to go with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. You want to talk about a guy that personified arrogance and the role of a villain, of a heel? It was $1 Million Man. He's one of those guys. Now, one of the most genius vignettes ever happens to be when the $1 Million Man appeared on a show called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. For those who don't know what that show was, it was a show hosted by a man named Robin Leach, and that show was like MTV Cribs before MTV Cribs. It was a show where high-profile celebrities would open their doors for Robin Leach to come in, and excuse me, and they would show their homes, their cars, their luxurious lifestyle. $1 Million Man appears on an episode of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. If he wasn't already exuding that he was one of the most wealthiest, successful people on this planet, putting him on that show took it to the next level. That was genius writing. And man, he fit the role. He did his thing on that show, and that really solidified, it cemented that role of him being the $1 Million Man. This guy that is just dripping in money, dripping in wealth. So yeah, that right there was one of the dopest vignettes ever. He had some other good ones where, like for instance, the one with the pool, where he was at a pool and there was a bunch of kids and stuff splashing water, and he was annoyed. So he's like, you know what, man, I'm gonna take care of this. Breaks out some big bills, gives it to the pool company people. Next thing you know, beep, everybody out. And then everybody's like, oh man, what happened? $1 Million Man gets to be in the pool by himself, nice and quiet, because, as he would say, everyone's got a price. And then that laugh too, man. So yeah, $1 Million Man, top 5 vignettes. Number 4. For number 4 was a very interesting one, and it came perfect timing. The timing was perfect for it. The late 90s was very controversial. It was a time where, they was pushing the envelope on what could be put on television, what could not. So the WWF decides to come through with a wrestler who is a porn star. And his first vignettes, or his vignettes, caught everybody off guard, especially the first one, because here it comes, you see like half-naked women walking around, and you see like directors, and all of a sudden you see a guy coming out from like the bathtub with a towel around his hammer, and he's like, hello ladies, and he's letting you know, yeah, this is a porn star, but I'm gonna come into that ring and I'm gonna get busy. So the next few weeks was just more videos of him shooting porn, and right after that he's dropping a few lines letting dudes know, yo, I'm coming for that belt. So it was genius, man. It was genius. It was very fitting with that time, because the WWF was losing the Monday Night Wars for like a year and a half. And they needed to change the direction because they were very, like, it was kid friendly and family oriented. But in order to survive, they needed to go the other direction. So they decided to do things that was similar to like the Jerry Springer show, where it was just pushing the envelope. You might have to pay a fine to the FCC. It didn't matter. They needed the ratings. And guys like Val Venus with those genius promos actually really helped the WWF not only catch up, but beat WCW in the Monday Night Wars. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Val Venus and that unique style promo. That was dope. Those were dope. Number 3, gotta go with the new world order. When you seen that black and white come on, this ad is brought to you by the New World Order. And then you hear the music in the background. See Hogan, Hollywood Hogan now. Now he got the black beard. You know, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. Yeah, then, you know, as they start to pile on more and more numbers, more and more people will hit the promos. But them WCW Monday Nitro promos of the NWO, man, that was, you lived for that. You know, as a kid, you lived for that, man. Even as adults, man, whoever was adults at that time watching, man, it was must-see TV, man. Especially getting to hear the NWO, hear them talk they talk, man, talk that ish. And, you know, Hogan waving around the big gold, and it was dope, man. Talking all that talk to the WCW roster. It was genius because at first you really didn't know. Was it really a takeover? Was it that Razor Ramon came over and brought others over with them? So they milked that and they kept going with it, and it was dope, man. It was some of the best. It was probably the best. It was the apex of wrestling, that Monday Night Wars between WWF and WCW. So I give NWO number 3. Number 2, I'm going to go with the man from the mean streets of Miami, the bad guy, Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon's vignettes was some of the dopest. I mean, it's a close number 2 because it could easily be number 1. You see the bad guy walking through South Beach, Miami, you know, with his Miami clothing, and he's got the Scarface impersonation down pat, because, you know, Scarface was supposed to be a Cuban immigrant, right, that migrates to the United States for better living. So you got Razor Ramon using the thick refugee accent from Cuba, or from somebody coming from Cuba. So that was his role. His role was that he came from Cuba and he's over here to pursue a better life, just like the bad guy Scarface did. And he comes through with the gold, with the Miami style open chest button down, and man, those were some of the best vignettes ever. Then you see him walking into restaurants and just flipping tables over, and you know, he even said and did some things that you can't do today or repeat today. But yeah, if you get a chance, look him up on YouTube, man. The bad guy, he really made everybody feel he was from Miami, and he was this bad guy from the mean streets of Miami. In fact, Razor Ramon's vignettes was so great. Check this out. One time, there was a film festival in Canada, and Al Pacino goes to the film festival and he meets with this movie executive. He goes to his office, and the executive has a poster of Razor Ramon in his office. Do you know Al Pacino, Scarface himself, points at that picture of Razor Ramon and says, huh, that guy, he does the bad guy better than me. That is high and the most ultimate praise that you could get. So yeah, those Mean Street of Miami promos, vignettes, those were some of the best you'll ever see. And number one, to me, gotta be the guy who just showed his name on every vignette. And that is Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect's vignettes are the greatest vignettes ever. Ever. I mean, first you have that epic music playing in the background, his theme song. And then, you know, he had celebrities. He had like Warren Moon. Warren Moon, you know, former football quarterback in the NFL. He's watching, he's telling Warren Moon, watch this. You think you could throw a football good? Watch this. My man, Mr. Perfect, throws a perfect spiral, then looks at Warren Moon and runs and catches his own catch. That was probably like 40, 50 yards, whatever. And Warren Moon's mind blown. Gets Wade Boggs. Wade Boggs is at the batting cage. Mr. Perfect's like, watch this. Home run. Showing Mr. Perfect in the sand, training with Bobby Heenan. Breaking world records and sprinting. Like, yo, Mr. Perfect's vignettes just showed you who he was. He was perfect. He did everything perfect. So I think that set the bar for Razor Ramon to step his vignette game up when he came in, because Perfect's vignettes were the essence of what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be to show who you are, and that's who he was. He was perfect. He's hitting home run after home run, throwing perfect spirals, catching them himself. He's swimming. I forgot who he was swimming with. He's beating Olympic swimmers. Like, come on, man. There's nothing he could do wrong. He does everything perfect. And that's why, to me, that showed who he was, and that's why he has to be number one in all-time vignettes. But that's my list of the top 5 vignettes. Got $1 Million Man at 5, Val Venus 4, NWO 3, Razor Ramon 2, Mr. Perfect 1. What do you think about the list? If you got any vignettes you think I should have mentioned, or any specific order, drop a comment. Let me know what you feel. I'm Wise for Wise Words Media. Peace.